and watching Beatbox TV. I'm Manjit on our weekly show Soul to Soul, where I bring different artists every week from different areas of Punjabi music. Not just Punjabi music, because wherever we are a diaspora. We're all over the world. Punjabis, there isn't a country where Punjabis are not. So our music is changing and it's evolving. It's becoming something quite new. And tonight's guests are going to be illustrating just that, how that evolution is happening. And next to me you see my guests this evening, two lovely gentlemen. We've got Harvey Sahota here with us, and we've got Amit with us, and their wonderful harmonium as well. Does it have a name?
Baja.
Baja. Excellent, that's what we like.
That's actually his surname.
Oh, is it really?
Baja.
Oh, wonderful story.
Oh, there you go.
Superb. So,
yes.
New areas of music. How long have you been involved in the music industry?
Well, myself and Amit, we've actually been on this journey since...
Well, it's many years.
University, I think.
In terms of making music and doing music together, it's sort of during university time. You know, Harvey spent a lot of Indian percussions, dholki, tablas.
Yeah.
So we started gelling together and putting some music together, and then we've been in sort of previous bands and stuff. So we've had quite a journey, and I think sort of a memorable moment was when we released the album in 2003. And things have sort of moved on.
Punjabi X.
That was Punjabi X.
Punjabi X was our debut album.
Right, and that was while you were still at university?
We had just finished uni actually then.
So 2003 you finished studying?
Roughly, yeah.
Right. And were you reading music when you were at university?
No, we was actually just
what were you reading?
good old Indian boys and doing business and marketing.
Oh, both of you are at the same university, same courses, right?
Yeah.
And you were just dabbling with the music as a hobby, or
I think the interest came at university. Whilst you have a lot of spare time there.
Do you? No, youngsters watching, you have no spare time at university.
Where do you start work? You know about it. Anyway.
So that's where it started.
Yeah, that's where it started. You have lots of time in the evening because we moved away. So we were living in a flat in North London, and then we had our instruments set up there. So after uni, used to come practice play.
Yeah.
And it started from there really, and then we got signed up to a record label in 2003 from Birmingham. Then we were told to work with certain artists, so we worked with Shinda, Master Sling.
Before you got to these names, how did your music get to them?
We had to make a demo.
Right.
So we was at uni and we made a demo, and that demo took ages. I think it took about a year to perfect it.
Right.
Because back in them days we didn't have computers to do music on. We had to actually record it on tape.
Right.
we had a little 4-track Tascam thing, and we had to record it again and again. And every time we make a mistake, it's like, oh damn,
back to square one.
Start again from the beginning. So we've been through all that experience.
Right.
And then very soon after that, all the computers came and all the technology came.
So you created these tapes, and the first person you sent them to was.
We went to a few record labels. We won't say the names.
Right. Okay.
we went to a few, and obviously our style, as most people know now, is a little bit different. It's not the typical Punjabi style. We do a fusion.
Yeah. I wanted to come on to that because you've created a very different sound.
Yeah.
What made you go for something different? Before we come on to the details of what that difference is, what made you decide that you wanted to veer from the norm?
I think personally myself, I've always veered onto listening to, pop, English, rock, reggae. And although I've liked Bhangra, I used to like Bhangra in the 80s and 90s, sort of that sound, and that was a fusion in itself.
Right.
If you go back and listen to what they did, like some of the bands like Hidas, Sahotas, Alap, Bremi, and those sort of bands, if you go back and listen to what they did, Bhangra itself was a fusion of folk music and music from the UK, disco, dance, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's what Bhangra was, and so I guess I grew up listening to fusion music.
Right.
And whereas Punjabi music over the last, I'd say 10-15 years, that veered off and became so desi, I kind of stayed with that sound and that sort of music.
So what sort of a sound is it that you create?
I call
What's the biggest influence?
I call it fusion, but I think we veer a lot towards reggae.
Right. Okay.
So it's a lot. It's a fusion between.
I think
Bhangra and
with,
reggae.
with Punjabi music, you can fuse those Indian beats with the different genres of sound, whether it's pop or reggae or dance, and that's the beauty of Bhangra, as they call it, and it's completely different in the UK, and that's why we can make that fusion and make it how we want. But at the same time, we want to have that sort of Bollywood soft element. We've got the chords and the sound goes places, and it's sort of a good balance. It's not just strong dole and as traditional folk Bhangra is. So
and
it's
what
a
about
different sound.
the instrumentation? What instruments do you have in your band? So
the band at the moment, which is called the Live Crew, unfortunately they all can't be here today. But we have two keyboardists. So one of them is Amit. The other guy is Devinder. He's at Wolverhampton.
Right.
We have a bass player, a guitar player, a drummer,
Right.
and a dolki player.
Okay, so just the dolki is the traditional instrument.
That's the only one in the band.
Really?
And he floats between the dolki and the tabla.
Right. Right.
But the keyboard also gives you a lot of different sounds, whether it's pianos or strings, or if you're in the baja sounds and traditional sounds.
The digital age, isn't it? You can make it what you want.
That's it, and that's why we have two keyboards, so we get the full sound. I can play santoor and strings at the same time, so we'll have a piano going, and together with all the percussion, in the background, the bass. Oh, it's amazing.
I want to come to your studio and watch you, listen to you making all this. I'd love to do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, please do. We'll arrange it later.
Yeah.
But so you were at university, you had an interest in music, and then you decided it's this fusion idea that we want to pursue.
Yeah.
What about formal music grounding? Did you have that, or are you self-taught?
We're kind of self-taught,
Yeah.
but we listen to a lot of really good musicians. I've had training on the dolki
Right.
from Kelly, and Uncle Kelly, as most people know. He used to play dolki for a while.
Right.
His son is Snow Callion,
Right.
who kind of taught me a few things as well.
Yeah.
Because I used to learn in Ilford from
Oh, did you?
Uncle Kelly,
Yeah.
Mustaji. So I spent quite a few years learning that. So the grounding's there. Plus,
what about your singing? You're the lead vocalist, aren't
The-
you? What about the singing?
the singing came about because I follow a certain band, the Sahotas,
Right.
and I spent a lot of time with
The
them.
relations, relatives?
No relation.
Okay. Just a name?
Just pure coincidence.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how they happened. It just happened.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with the Sahotas on the road as well. So we've done a lot of grounding work in terms of experience and listening and knowledge from that side of things.
Right.
It's not a formal education,
Yeah.
but what it is it's being on the road, sitting around these people
Yeah.
and just picking
And
up.
absorb.
That's it. I mean, even with myself, it's kind of, I've always just listened to music and then copied the notes, and it's kind of just come natural. So if I hear something, I can find it and start playing
So
it.
it's like learning organically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of comes from my dad. My dad used to play all the old Bollywood songs.
Oh, did
and
you? On the harmonium?
Harmonium is, I don't know what the instrument is. It's got guitar on one side and you sort of press the keys.
Okay.
It's
Alright.
very old sort of instrument. I was just sort of kid then. But yeah, it was kind of playing sort of old Bollywood songs. And again, it's just listening and feeling.
So it's
it just
playing by
comes.
ear,
Playing by ear.
isn't it? Hearing and then I suppose you get used to where the note is.
Yeah, and as you play more and more and you play sort of different songs, you just sort of starts becoming natural, and then they start making their own music.
When you listen, I mean, your latest song, I've been listening to it, Sajna
Sajna,
yeah, Gurdas Manji's original. And I was thinking, when Gurdas Man sings, he does have that Hindustani Sangeet grounding, so that the nuances in the voice are there. Do you feel that that's something in the future that you would want to put into your music, or is it not important as important a part of what you're producing?
I think I'm just happy singing at the moment as it is.
Right.
And all that stuff will come later on. I think as I develop as a vocalist.
Right.
I mean, Gurdas Man, I've followed him.
Have you sent your song to him? Has he heard it?
I don't know.
You don't know. I was just wondering, because what would he think? This is so different from.
It's always good to get reaction of someone of that caliber.
Yeah, absolutely.
The public have said it's good.
Yeah.
They really liked it.
Right.
It's done really well as far as the public's concerned.
I mean,
loads of feedback on Facebook and social media to say that, which is a good thing. Because public on Facebook and social media
Yeah.
can be quite
Oh,
harsh when they want to be.
Yes, absolutely.
But in this case, it worked. So,
You've got the support
Thank you.
happening. Yeah.
thank you.
And every musician needs that, because really you're putting yourself out there, bearing yourself up for criticism, so it's a very brave thing to do.
Even now, as just veering off to the side of that conversation, even now as just a normal person on Facebook, you're up for discrimination.
Absolutely.
The moment you put a photo up or something,
Yes.
and as artists, we're putting all our hard work and effort and blood and sweat and tears, and we worked for about a year on such,
Right, really?
It's a 3.5 minute track,
Yeah.
and we spent about a good year on it.
Yes.
Latterly towards the end of the project, but we did spend a good year on it, developing it
Yeah.
and trying to make it what it was.
It's really interesting. Before I ask the next question, you've got your lovely instrument. I don't want that to go to waste. I'd like to hear something that, show me something. We'll hear a bit of Rajan later, but show me something that you've taken something traditional and then you put your flavour on it. Can you do that?
Hotspot.
God, that's a serious hospital, that one is.
It's doable though, isn't it?
The thing is, the problem is, it's a traditional instrument.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
And because normally, we bought this because it's like a compact thing to bring, but normally he would play keys, he would play the keyboards.
Right.
And then you can really show
Yeah.
what you
The
can do to
difference.
a...
Like the grooves and the bits and your sounds and change and
What you can
it's
do.
a different
Right,
thing,
Whereas on a harmonium,
Straight playing,
if you try to modernise something that was traditional, it would end up sounding traditional anyway.
Traditional.
Because of
I get
just the way
it.
the harmonium
So
works.
you need the technology of the new instruments,
Yeah,
and this just harmonises with
that's it. Just harmonise
the new
with
stuff that
This
you do.
is-
I get
this
it.
is
the
one
beats,
here.
where the groove sits with the song.
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
instrument here is more of a solo instrument by itself,
Yeah,
played alongside a double dorky,
right.
to kind of give you the basis on idea. This is where music starts really.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
starts here as a basis,
Building
and then
blocks.
and then further on from that you can develop it with the rest of the sounds.
Yeah. Wow. So I was going to say to you that if you have a colour wheel, right,
Okay.
and on your colour wheel you've got contrasting and complementary colours.
Sure.
Yeah, and you've got your red up there, and it complements and contrasts with green, and the two of them together really make something. But they're distinct and they're different.
Yeah.
Right. So if I say to you, with your fusion music, you're taking a bit of this and you're taking a bit of that and you're taking a bit of this and you're creating something. What if I said to you, you're putting it on a colour wheel and all the colours are wet and you spin them, what's going to happen to them? The colours just blend and turn into white eventually.
Is it white?
Right.
Is it white? Yeah, it is white. Yeah.
So
Diffracted light.
do you think that, I'm not a physicist, I'm an artist.
I did a bit of physics in college.
So do you think that, what is your opinion, what is your opinion that the traditional genres of music that we had that distinction, between them?
Yeah.
And yet if we do fusion, are we losing something by fusing things together?
Music is whatever you want to make it, or whatever you want to do with it, and there should be that freedom, and there shouldn't be that sort of labelling of Bhangra sounds should be like this and it should be distinct, like those colours that you explained, you can mix it, but it's important to do it right.
Yeah.
And to do it in a way where when you fuse it you can still feel that Indian sound in there, and you can still feel the groove of or pop or reggae beat or whatever's playing.
Yeah.
So it's the way you actually do it. And not to put too much in there, like you say, everything mixes too much,
Yes.
and then it kind of ruins the sound as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of where that is, So you've got to be thinking how you bring the music together, and especially when you're putting beats, Indian beats, into English sound and English beats. You've got to make space for that, and you've got to make it right. So.
And of course, as I said in the intro, we are a diaspora. We've moved away from where our roots were, so we are going to change and evolve. What appeals to the ear is going to be different down the decades. So and music is about what appeals to the ear. But changing from that, about the language of the songs that you create, you guys homegrown, as they say. You know, you're Brit Indians. I like that term, Brit Indians, aren't you? Yeah. Well, I don't like this term. Asia is too big. You know, you're not Chinese, are you? You know, and you're not Korean either. So you know, we hail from India. So we're Brit Indians. You know, I'm a proper Indian, by the way. Born and bred. Born and bred.
I wouldn't have guessed if you didn't put the accent on.
Would you know?
I do loads of accents.
I have to cultivate that.
Do you know what?
accent.
I really thought you were from the UK, but now with the accent, I can.
When I go home, which I call it home, I get a better deal if I speak this way. But then every so often, you know,
It always comes down to money with Indians.
Absolutely.
When I go back home, I talk like, "All right, mate, how's it going?"
Oh, you do?
What? You don't understand, "All right, mate, how's it going?" You have to say, "All right, mate." You have to make it very clear for them. And then say, "Oh, I got it."
You know, you're born and brought up over here, so you know English is your language.
Yeah.
So the lyrics, for example, in Sajna, you know,
Punjabi.
Punjabi. You know, what's your appreciation of that? You know, deep Punjabi verbiage.
The thing is, I'm from a traditional Punjabi family, and our grandparents and parents always encouraged us to speak Punjabi around the house. You know, if me and my sisters or me and my cousins are ever sitting there talking away in English, you know, how you guys going? They go, "Sanu bhi dasso ki tusi karne ha?" You know, and then it's like, "Sanu bhi pata lage mara." So, because of that, I think we just grew up in that sort of environment where Punjabi became a second nature, and it developed just as well as our English did.
So you became bilingual. I mean, your accent is fluent.
Yeah.
So you're totally bilingual.
I think when you're singing, that's very important.
Yes, absolutely. To sound authentic.
To get the words out, to be able to pronounce them properly.
Yes.
So I spend a lot of time with people who I know their pronunciations.
Yes.
Whilst I'm training for a song or getting lyrics.
Right.
You know,
so when you
I can't actually write.
You can't write
Punjabi.
You come
Shameful,
to me,
I know.
I'll teach you.
I can't write or read it. So what I have to do is when I'm with the lyricist, I have to normally sit with him.
Right.
And spend a good amount of time going through it, and then I, for want of a better word, I put it in Roman Punjabi.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, phonetics,
yeah,
and I have to write it phonetically. And even then, when I'm back singing it, I have someone. I have a good friend of mine, Shane Cobra.
Right.
He's a good friend of mine. He normally sits with me in the recording.
And explains all.
Recording. No, not explain. I know what it means.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes when you're singing, you get lost in the vocals.
Right.
And then sometimes you can forget to pronounce something properly.
Right.
So he'll stop me and say,
"Not that word.
just check that word," and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, let's redo it again. So you know.
So do you think there's in the future any scope for you guys to be writing your own materials in this fusion way?
It's funny how you say that, because the next track we're working on, myself and Devinda, who's the keyboard player for the band, we're actually writing the next song.
Right.
So he doesn't know how to read and write Punjabi, neither do I, but we're writing it using the vocab that we already know.
Right.
And should be a good song.
And when you're writing your song, where will, because most of the Bhangra songs, right, they'll have that base is in India, and it's taking the imagery of India, which in your songs I've noticed as well. You know, you talk about Morni Vargi Chal, etc.
All right, yeah.
Mind you, we have got some more in the next village over here, but they're pictures of India, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when you write your stuff, is it going to be based on imagery from here, or how are you going to turn that?
I don't really see songs as like using imagery. I normally when songs are written for me, or when I'm selecting a song, because normally 8 or 9 times out of 10 the song's already written,
right.
and it's what you feel about that song.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I like to sing songs about love, or some sort of friendship. Hence why Sajna was a good song, because it's a song about love, but it's more of a song about friendship.
Yes.
If you listen to it and you listen to verses, it's about someone who's travelling to his friends shared.
Yes.
And he's saying that where I'm from, I'm nothing, but when I come to your shared, I feel like a king. And that's the story of that song. So it's a really good friendship song. That's why I wanted to sing that But most of the songs that even the Kudi Punjaban, that was a love song. Most Punjabi songs are based around 3 topics.
Yeah.
You could put them in one of 3 boxes.
Yeah. The eternal subjects.
It's either about have a drink,
Yeah.
or have a dance,
Yeah.
or go get the girl.
Go get the girl.
It's one of those 3.
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll get one that just sits outside the box.
Right.
You know.
So
But
has your music got you 2 boys, your girls then yet? They've gone silent.
well, he's married, so yeah.
Oh, you're married, so you've got your girls, right?
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Not yet. They're available. This one's available still, girls.
That's not
It's 10:45, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like what you were saying back to having an Indian setting. I think there's a lot of videos out there with shot in India
Yeah.
with the fields, and there's a certain look and feel about it, and it's a story and stuff. So with our last video, that's what I like. We made it kind of different, you know, in a sense. It was set in the UK, and sort of industrial feel, and that's kind of, you know, I think we want to diversify in that way, and not just make it sort of set in India and that kind of thing.
Because we've been here like, you know, more than half a century
there's so many
now.
wonderful places you can shoot, you know,
Absolutely.
videos in the UK, especially in London. London, so.
And Indian singers, you know, are coming over here looking for English locations to shoot their videos.
Yes,
So.
that's right.
Yeah, because then their videos appeal to people back home.
That's right, absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. So maybe to finish off with, we could hear a little bit of. Would you like to do a few lines from
Start off with,
Sajna or
Yeah,
something else?
we can do Sajna. to do a cover version, and I wanted it to be different.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want it to be not to say the versions that have come out before aren't any less well done, but I felt that if you want to do a cover version, you have to do it differently so that it gets appreciated.
So it's not just copying what was.
Because if you look at English music, when English musicians or English artists do cover versions, they never sing it the same way. The music's never the same.
Right.
You know, they change a lot, but it still retains the signature of the original.
Yeah.
So I think that I followed that principle really.
Right.
You know, I didn't create the principle by myself. I literally followed what the English musicians do.
What they've done.
What they do.
No, I think that's...
And we look a lot to English music as well in our music.
Yes,
For
of
influence.
course.
So
Yes.
seems to have
have
worked.
That's excellent. I really did enjoy that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for,
Thank you so much for having us.
being here
It's
with
all right.
us.
It's okay.
And folks, watch out for their music. This is Harvey and Amit, and
The
they
live
are
crew.
from the live crew.
Yes.
Watch out for their new releases, and we wish you all the luck.
Come and see us live if you get a chance.
Definitely. You come and check me out live too.
Yeah. Come see us.
One more song.
It's been an
It's been a pleasure.
absolute
Thank you.
pleasure. It's
Cheers.
been really
Thank you
lovely
very much.
seeing you.
Thank you.
See you guys next week. Goodbye now.